In the 1980s, a large hospital wanted to collect patient information on a notebook computer. A young resident physician with a background in programming and special interest in EHRs took the opportunity. There was little discussion on who would be in charge of overseeing the resident's work and what the system would actually do. The resident was mostly left alone to work on the project himself. After a couple of months, the resident was able to connect radiology to separate laboratory systems. The attending was informed and pleased. After the resident graduated, the system was barely used, if at all. Man, this hospital looks pretty outdated. I wonder how I can, modernize this. Maybe I should buy one of those netbook computers or something. I wonder how I can do that.
Hey, sir. I heard that you wanted to make a new notebook computer.
Yeah.
I'm well qualified to do that. I have a programming background.
Oh, yeah.
How about I do that?
Okay.
On the roll.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
1.
When an organization is considering about implementing new technologies, they need to involve healthcare professionals before any decision or planning is made. Referring to Dr. Carlos Jean, who is a professor and chair of the Department of Family and Community Medicine, he states that successful implementation of HIT requires deep understanding of current processes that deliver a particular function, willingness to map these processes and change them to adapt to the new systems. This relates to the case as involving healthcare professionals will allow a deeper understanding of the current system process and the ideal system. This information gained can be used to compare the two systems together to find out what changes are needed to be done on the current system and whether buying or developing a new system is better. It is also important for everyone in the organization to be aware of potential changes to their workflow, so when implementing begins, they are more willing to accept the system.
Good morning. As you know, I brought you in here today to tell you that Dennis is going to be developing and implementing our new system that we're kind of trying to bring in. And I really need a lead for this project.
Hey, good for you, man. One of my residents actually developing a system in this hospital. Hey, you know a lot about computer programming.
I do. I'm well qualified.
Awesome. Awesome. You can do this.
I think I will be able to do fine.
Okay, so it's settled then.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. The project managers had a vision to develop a programmed notebook and implement it into the system, but they did not have a plan to achieve this. In the fundamentals of health information management, system development lifecycle is a process used by information technology companies or IT developers or programmer to develop or build an information system or application. One of the models of SDLC is the Spiral model, which involves prototyping. The prototyping process is an iterative approach where users are encouraged to try the prototype and provide feedback. This is then repeated as each iteration for the prototype is developed. The resident was designated to develop the program and was well qualified to do so. However, the program managers did not have any specific purposes for the system.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, I just finished connecting the radiology to the laboratory.
Oh yeah? I've been meaning to ask you about that. It's going good?
Yeah, finished.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
1.
In this case, there was a lack of clear leadership on the project. The development process went on without committee revision or focus group discussions. The developer was left from the beginning of the project to the end to be the sole decision maker on what the system needs to do and how it will do it. This created a vision that was not clear nor concise throughout the organization. They made a system without the end users in mind. During the development process of the program, there was minimal supervision. This is another issue, as any work area should be checked upon for any updates to ensure the workflow is consistent and running without any problems. Teamwork is important no matter how qualified one individual is. Okay, so I enter it like this, right?
No, let me show you. Like that, you see?
Okay,
Yeah, so make sure you know it because you're the only one I'm training right now.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good luck, buddy.
Okay.
All right, let's see if this works. Okay. All right, it's live. Perfect. Should tell the boss.
Before having the system developed, there should have been a plan made on how the system was going to be implemented in the workplace. From the Hit or Miss book, it is said that the success of a project is perhaps 80% dependent on the development of the social and political interaction skills of the developer, and 20% or less on the implementation of the hardware and software technology, said by Robert Riley. In this case, the developer was the resident, and as we know, he developed the system independently. He had a brief interaction with others and did the rest of the work himself. The system turned out to be great because this was the developer's focus, but it was irrelevant and had no relationship with the end users. All the end users should have been aware of the changes that would happen to their workplace, and because the system wasn't introduced to the workplace, it was left unnoticed.
In a system, you must employ a user-centered design, or UCD, in the article Electronic Health Record Usability. Some challenges to practicing UCD include conducting contextually rich studies of clinical workflow, recruiting participants for usability studies, and having support from leadership within the vendor organizations. In this case, none of these challenges were met or attempted. Some lessons to be learned from this case are the following.
Lesson 1. Consider end users. Taking into account for the needs of the end users will make them more acceptable of the change. Teamwork and involving all stakeholders is essential for developing and implementing a new system.
Lesson 2. Always have a plan on how the system could be implemented into the department. In this case, the issue is that there is no discussion on change management. Poor management resulted in only one clinician being trained and little time being put into the project. As a result, the new system ended up being too complicated for end users to use.
3. When healthcare information technology is beginning to be implemented, clinicians need to be involved from the start of decision-making processes. As we can see in this case, the clinicians were only represented by the developer, a resident physician. There were no feedback processes done throughout the entire development and implementation process. 4. When developing healthcare information technology in-house, there needs to be risk assessments throughout the development. In Mohit Shumar's article, A Study of SDLC to Develop Well-Engineered Software, he states, SDLC is a step-by-step process for creating quality software for users. It involves different phases that are followed one after one that are essential for software developers, such as planning, analysis, design, coding, and implementation. It includes evaluation of present software, information gathering, and feasibility study, and request approval. If this method was followed in the case, there would have been a more user-centered system.